Good afternoon. Good afternoon and boa tarde. I'm Miriam Asuncion from OKR Matrix, and I will conduct today today's seminars, the management model with OKR. Is it for your organization? Today, we have two speakers. I really appreciate their presence in here. Luiz Corandin, who is a certified OKR coach and senior partner at OKR Matrix, responsible for OKR implementation and mentoring. Luiz has been working with agile methodologies for some time, helping companies to succeed in OKR. Welcome, Luiz. And Joilson Marques Costa, consultant with experience in different industries as food, services, chemical, and aerospace. He participated in global transformation projects in Asia, South America, USA, and Europe, including 15 years in France. Actually, he is based in Netherlands since 2015. He accumulates experiences as SFO, Head of Operations Excellence of IET in Europe. Welcome and appreciate your presence in here, Joilson. Different expertises of our two speakers about organizations, but also experiences, their own experiences in failures and learnings and successes, learning lessons that help us to understand customers' needs. Let's go with the questions. Joilson.
Yes, first of all, thank you very much, Miriam, for your invitation, the invitation from OKR Matrix to be here in this moment. And of course, thank you very much for the audience here, our colleagues that are connected at this moment, where we will share a good moment with Luiz Corandin. It's a pleasure to be with you, Corandin.
Thank you, Joilson.
It's a pleasure to see you again. So thank you very much. So, and in fact, Corandin will share with us his experience, and we will verify how can we talk about this important topic related to kind of organization that you can use OKR. What kind of organization? Everybody can use as a management framework or not. So, Corandin, we hope that you can share with us and we can talk together about some important points. So, only to remember, OKR is a opportunity to us to talk about objectives. Is an opportunity to talk with everybody about things that you want to achieve. So to remember again, the O from OKR means what you want to accomplish, and KR identify the key results that help you meet your objectives. So in this sense, Luiz, we would like to know, how can OKR be useful in case of company that would like, for example, we use an example to facilitate the understanding to start. One company that you would like deciding the strategy to globalize, to go abroad.
Nice. Thanks, Joilson. Thanks, Miriam, again for the introduction. And yeah, OKR is quite a model that I love to talk about and share experience, because I know that OKRs can change companies and people and behaviors. And I hope that I can help you guys to understand a little bit better about this model. Well, about your question, Joilson, I usually say to my customers that first, before you start introducing OKRs into your day-to-day basis, into your organization, you should have a strategy first. You should put your strategy in place first. In this example that you just mentioned, if a company wants to go abroad, if a company wants to start in a new region, in a new place, the first thing that this company, the C-level, should do is talk about the strategy model, the entry model strategy that they want to go abroad, how they want to go abroad. For example, I can give you an example of an entry model A company wants to go abroad by a greenfield model, for example. Once you have this greenfield model strategy in place, then you can start think about your OKRs. OKRs are really good, well written and well developed when you have this strategy in place. So OKRs, I usually say to my customers, when you have the strategy and you have the execution of that strategy, and there's a huge gap between those two levels. And OKRs work really well connecting and communicating this strategy to teams and departments. So the first thing, you should build a good strategy, whatever it is, but you should start with that, and then you can build your OKRs to deliver how you're going to tackle the problem in this moment, right now. So the strategy is a long-term period, usually 2 years, 3 years, I would say, time length. And OKRs are going to say to your team, to your organization, what are you going to tackle right now in this year?
Perfect. So this discussion will be really useful because we have some problems, some issues at this moment that can be interesting for people that are connected here from Brazil, from USA, from Europe, Africa, Asia. And in each area today, we have a specific context. Okay, we have the pandemic that is a global situation, but for example, for Europe specifically, we see that we have another movement, the Brexit, and with the Brexit, some companies move, some companies come, some companies can leave, change the country, increase, decrease. So we have, the future is now. So the point is, Luis, in this movement from companies, for example, one company that would like for a strategic reason to move from Brazil to abroad or from another place in Europe, it is really pertinent, is it? So OKR can help for this decision, no? And how can help?
Uh, Good question, by the way. Yeah, we are living in a world now with the COVID-19. COVID just shifted all markets, the whole globe, actually. And many companies just change basically everything they were doing before the COVID-19. But in this case, you mentioned also about the Brexit just happened now, just had the agreement about Brexit. But I still say to companies that they should create a huge strategy about these movements. These, for example, moving from one place to another. They should create drivers, I would say, initiatives that are really important to the company. And with those initiatives, those programs and drivers, you can build the OKRs to communicate this strategy to company, among the company, to teams and to departments. OKRs, they just many people just say that OKRs are a goal setting model, a framework, but more than that, OKRs can easily communicate among the company the whole strategy. So that's why the OKRs are connected between both levels that I just mentioned before. So when you are putting a strategy to moving abroad, to moving to a new place, build these pillars, drivers. For example, I can give you an example of that. Expand our company, our production to a new place. You are situated in Rotterdam, right, Netherlands.
Yes,
So
it's my
a company can choose not Rotterdam as a place to expand their production and start producing in this place. So once you have that, you can build the OKR saying how are you going to deliver that, to address that. So you should probably need to hire people there. You need a place to start producing, or maybe create a partnership So you can have these OKRs saying how you are going to start the production in this new place by moving from point A to point B, you know. So OKRs are all about the outcomes that you are desire, but also saying to people, departments, and teams, how are you going to do this movement, you know?
Thank you, Luis. And I would like to explore more this subject because the example mentioned it is about a production that will grow and be done abroad. So apparently, the objective is related to production area. But we know that when a company change, when a company have this kind of strategical objective, by consequence, we will have impact in another areas. They need money, so the way to control money in financial department must be aligned with that. It will impact human resource department because maybe we need to train again people, hire people, change the profile of people. So how can we how can we connect another departments if the main goal is in production? How can we put together support areas for this objective in the company to have a real alignment?
Wow, good question again, Joilson. OKRs, they work really well not by silos, but by challenges, by main goals of the company. So when we were talking about operations, you actually not just operations, teams and departments are connected to this challenge. For example, HR, you mentioned HR. Maybe HR should work together with operations team to hire people in this new place when you are moving to a new place. Or maybe you can just develop uh, new ways HR can develop or help people to improve themselves in their careers to move to this new place and be a leader there. So you can see that OKRs when they are well written, you are not working in silos just because it's a production goal. OKRs doesn't look like that. They just say we need to go abroad, and because of that, we need the collaboration of teams and departments that are connected to that goal. So when you have this OKR, organizational OKR, we call organizational OKR the OKRs that are connected to the C level, right? The organization, the how organization wants to achieve in that period. So in this case, teams and departments are going to look to that OKR going abroad, for example, and each department, each team are going to see how they can contribute to that OKR together. So we are not talking about silos anymore, like used to be in the past models, you know. And this is one of the main things why OKRs is so difficult to companies starting to introduce this model in a traditional company that are using traditional models. Don't get me wrong, traditional models can still work in some contexts, but nowadays, we are living in a period that OKRs can easily communicate new strategies. And if you talk about this VUCA world, we are saying that many shifts in the market are going throughout this last couple of years. So if you have a good strategy, I mean the main strategy, you can just plug the OKRs to focus your team, to say to your team, what are you going to address right now in this moment? No.
Perfect. Yes. Thank you very much again. And I agree with you that it can be a big challenge for the companies because you know that some areas can use traditionally another tools. And in this deployment, I am thinking about areas that can use daily management or the finance that can be concentrated in a budget follow-up project, big project or global project, and they need to work together on that. And we see several trends, Luis, at this moment, and things that works. Today we talk a lot about agile, we talk a lot about some areas working to be the great place to work, budget methodologies. So we have a lot of methodologies. We know that OKR is not new, but at this moment, more and more companies are using, and you said with this environment, the VUCA environment, everything changing. But again, I would like to emphasize one point. If we have several terminology for several projects in a company, how can we mitigate the risk to have OKR as a fashionable subject, just fashion, or use because Google use it, just use because Intel use it or Microsoft use it? How can we avoid do it in a company and have a big problem, a big mess without connection? In your experience, please.
Okay. Yeah. Many organizations, many customers, when we start introducing OKRs there, we can see a pattern of what are the pitfalls, that those companies should avoid in order to take the most of OKRs. For example, one of the main things is to connect the C-level, to show to C-level the importance, the benefits of OKRs. Like we are just mentioned here in this talk, OKRs are really well connected to the strategy, a huge strategy, drivers, goals, main goals for the company, for the organization, and how you deliver this communication to teams. It's connected right there. Once you have that, you can C-level. It's like we are saying we are connecting the C-level, the top-down model, with the bottom-up model, which is here are the teams. So we are connecting both of them through OKRs. So if you can, for example, explain that or show that those benefits to C-level and put OKRs in the C-level agenda, because we start introducing OKRs from the top management, saying how the strategy should be delivered. And once we have that, we connect the bottom-up teams saying how they are going to deliver that. And if we don't have these guys here, the C-level, totally on board in OKRs, most part of the companies that are introducing OKRs, they are failing, unfortunately. So I would say, connect to the C-level and show them that OKRs can easily connect to the strategy and communicate that strategy to teams, working in a collaborative way. Like I was saying, we are not building OKRs in silos, but in groups that are contributing together for a common goal,
Okay, but so let's talk about one situation where everything is aligned, but you talked about VUCA. We have a complex event in this context, and it happens, just happened. For example, marketing says that we have a change in the life cycle of product, and everybody know, as consumers, we know that the life cycle is reduced at this moment, and people just decide to buy another thing, replacing another product. So if you have this input from marketing, how a big organization can move fast in this case, in this context where everything changed and we are in a digital transformation at this moment, and the behavior consumer can change fast. How a strong organization aligned can move fast with OKR.
Good. Once again, when we talk about a dynamic world, a dynamic market, like the world we are living now, you should discuss deeply about how your strategy, your company should deliver those solutions to your customers. So first, you need to understand your customers. You need to understand the gap in the market, why the customers are buying from you or for your competitors, And once you have that, you start to build a strategy, but we are not talking about the initiatives, the programs, and the actions. OKRs are all about outcomes. What the outcomes that you want to achieve from your strategy. And this strategy should be customer centricity. They should look for the customers, understand the customers, and once you have that, you have a strategy that are looking to solutions that the customer are requiring from you and your competitors. Once you have that, your OKRs are just delivering the outcomes that you desire the most, connected to those strategies. And then the product life cycle, once again, when you have these products being released by IT teams and selling by the sales teams, they are just trying to deliver the solution to customers. You understand? And then when you have any solution trying to follow this movement of the market, these shiftings of the market, probably you are going to use another tools in this level, the execution level. Also could be agile models as Scrum, XP, Kanban. There are some agile models that operation teams use to test a solution, to test a service, a new service in the market. Once you have that, you are just moving your teams to build new solutions, products, services. But all of this should deliver an outcome. That are the OKRs. So when you build good OKRs, you're not putting programs, actions, initiatives on OKRs. You are putting the outcomes that these programs are delivering. So once you start the OKRs looking for the outcomes, your initiatives, you can start your initiatives with the operation team, and then you start product A, for example. You just release a new product in the market, and this product is not doing so well. This product is not delivering the outcome. So in OKRs, you can see the point just shifting, if it's going well or not. If the OKRs are not moving, so what you're going to do? Change your product, change your program, your initiative. So that's why when you see in this way, OKRs looking to the outcomes, it doesn't matter the programs. You give to your teams to think about the programs, the products, and the services. Once you can reach a good product in the market, you are going to see your OKRs just shifting, increasing the number. You are going to measure the outcomes in OKRs. Initiatives and programs and action are going to in another model such as Scrum or Kanban, for example.
Perfect. But for example, I have my objective. I have some key results in the way to go to my objective, but maybe it was not very well done, and I have some key results that are not delivering nothing. I have a problem with quality with my key results that was established. So my question is, in which frequency we need to verify the KRs to be sure if I am on track or not?
Good. We have usually when we start implementing OKRs in the companies, we usually have two levels. I mentioned one before, which is the organizational OKRs connected to the C-level, the strategy. And this one usually is one time length with analysis in 6 months. So we build an OKR looking to, by the end of the year, for example, in December 2021, we have those OKRs in this connected to the strategy and the C-level, and we should analyze them each 6 months. And the other level is the team's OKRs. This one is quarterly revised, analyzed. So we have 4 opportunities in the year to revise your strategy and how your strategy is doing with the team's OKRs, because they are delivering each quarter. They are delivering they are addressing the actions and moving the outcomes from those OKRs. So we usually say we have 4 opportunities in the year against once a year in traditional models. We just revise every end of the period, and in the beginning of the period we set some goals. By the end of the period we analyze them. Of course, we have KPIs to measure how the company is going, but it's different from OKRs, because OKRs, you should discuss every quarter about your OKR, the team's OKRs. If what they are doing is really addressing the strategy. It's a different way of approaching,
Nice. So it's clear so that key results, KR, are different of KPIs, key performance indicators. So it was really clear for us. And if I have one problem, one event, one surprise that happened before 3 months, what do you do? What is the mechanism for that?
Oh, that's really good, because in OKRs, you have, well, us from OKR Matrix, we build, when we are implementing OKRs, we build an OKR governance inside the company. Inside this governance, we have something that we call turnaround. What is the turnaround? We make fun of it because you can think about a red button. You know, the red button that you press every time you need to, oh my God, something shifted in the market, and then we need to discuss that, and then we press that button. And last year, Joilson, many companies just pressed that button because of COVID-19 on March. For example, here in Brazil, I have an example, a company, we implemented OKRs in January 2020, and 2 months later, COVID-19 arrived in South America, in Brazil. And then the company had a strategy completely different from what should be done because of COVID-19. They wanted to expand themselves in other regions in Brazil. So once COVID-19 arrived here in Brazil, they pressed the red button, the turnaround. They reunited all the C-level to discuss what should be done once they had this COVID-19 here in Brazil. And they just eliminated all the OKRs that were connected to this expansion driver, and they introduced a new one that was reducing costs. And the objective was reducing costs in order to survive. So when we started to deploy this OKR, this new organizational OKR based on COVID-19, the teams just connected to themselves and they started to build OKRs. Okay, how I am HR department teams can contribute to reducing costs. As a sales team, as a marketing team, you see, you just delivered the new message. Like we took at least, I think we took 3 weeks to deliver all this new communication to the company. And before April starts, we already had the whole new OKRs structure built. And in April, the teams started to shifting their delivering activities and actions, looking to reducing costs. This is one of the benefits. It's flexible. OKRs are so flexible, dynamic. You can just shift easily when you have this type of model.
Okay, perfect. So we will apply this, for example, now for another kind of organization.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you have governmental institutions, and it's a real case, a big movement that we are looking at this moment is a real context. We have, for example, a recovery plan in Europe. This recovery plan, it means that they have a big budget that will be shared in Europe, more or less 1.8 trillion of dollars or euros that will be shared between countries. And each country must identify, based in some criteria, who will use this resource. And on another side, several companies are excited to have this benefit with this fund. Talking about the criteria, the guideline is to be related to, I would say, at least three important. Research and innovation is one. And climate is another important that you said. Yeah. Digital transition. So how companies in one side and government on another side can use the OKR framework or thinking to align the two levels of decision and strategy.
Good. Yeah. Once you have this strategy released by the European Union, you have the drivers. You just said three main drivers: R&D, digital business transformation, and then when you have these three drivers well understood by the companies and countries and the governments, they can connect OKRs in the same levels that I told you. For example, if you are a government, you can build a OKR, organizational OKR, in a year time length, choosing one or two of these three drivers to tackle in that year. For example, 2021. I am a country, and then I'm going to understand those drivers, choose one or two, and build OKRs how my country or my government are going to address and prepare to use those resources, those resources that should come to my country. So once you have that, you have a year plan. And then you can build teams as teams OKRs, the sectors of the government. For example, you can choose a sector for infrastructure, health, sustainability, like you said. And then you can tackle not, again, by silos, but by drivers. And then you deliver this message to the whole people involved in this situation. Also for the organizations, I can mention that, for example, United Nations has a sustainable development goals. Is 17. They are 17 sustainable development goals created by UN, United Nations. So organizations can go there, understand that strategy, because each one of those 17 has a huge strategy created by UN. So you can choose some of them. Okay, sustainability is one of them. I can understand this, and my company can contribute by doing, and then you can write organizational OKRs, and then telling your people, your organization, that this is our priority inside the company, connected to a strategy made by UN. So I'm just saying the same here about how you connect the strategy, because OKRs cannot be well written, well structured, if you don't have a huge strategy to look for,
Yeah. It makes me think about the strategy and the objective in the personal life. And at this moment, people are rethinking the personal life, the objective. In terms of organization, we know that we have family companies, familial companies, or individual companies, and they are facing problems at this moment, and they need to survive in both sense, real sense, and as a company. So I see that this approach, and when we talk about this kind of organization that pay attention in the environment, for example, So we see that the big change can impact, and the objective can be related to things not sometimes related just with economy or results. My question will be based on that. We can have, for example, the foundation of the Bill Gates Foundation, for example. They decided to have a target using OKR to eradicate malaria in the world. So it's not related to results or economy or money. So it is the point, the question. So in the end, the conclusion is we can use in a variety of cases, variety of organization. We talk about small company, big company, person, individual, and government, etc. Is it, Luis? Can you confirm that is independent of the kind of the organization that it can be used?
Of course, any size of company, any type of company can use it. Once you have this strategy well discussed inside the company, you can start building the OKRs to deliver that. And you mentioned about Bill Gates institution. For those who are who had written, reread the book from John Doerr, Measure What Matters. John Doerr just delivered two examples from non-governmental organization, which one of them is the Bill Gates Institution, and Bono Vox, the singer from U2, has his own non-governmental organization, and both of them use OKRs to deliver and communicate the whole institution how they should address a huge goal. In the case of Bill Gates was malaria, but you can use for any circumstance, any context, once you have your strategy put in place first.
Yeah, so it's all about communication, is it? So communication is a strategical point on that, the communication area. Can you confirm it?
Yeah. Well, most part of the companies that are trying to introduce OKRs work really well in one of those organizations that has this strategy well discussed, well developed. So you should start from this point, and once you have that, you build OKRs to just deliver the actions and deliver the outcomes you want to achieve throughout this strategy.
Perfect. So we talked about a lot of things. So governmental organization, we talked about small companies. I suppose that for startups can be applied. Can you share your experience? What do you think that startup can be a good field to apply OKR, for example? Talk about it,
Oh,
please.
yeah. We implemented in startups as well in a couple of last years, and there is a little bit difference between traditional huge organizations, and startups. Startups move really fast. They are trying to test so many products and services at the same time. They are trying to find a niche in the market, a gap in the market. So in this case, I strongly recommend for startups to use just one level of OKRs, quarterly OKRs, because they are testing so many things in a short period of time. So in this case, I usually say that use one level of OKRs quarterly, so you can all the time discuss with inside your company, inside your startup, if you are achieving the outcomes that you desire to 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 fill this gap in the market. So just because the startups are just trying to find or discover something new in the market, that's why I'm recommending those startups to use this type of OKRs. But of course, every implementation, OKR implementation, when we arrive in the company, we should understand the moment of the company and what the company wants to achieve. When you talk about startups, most of them in the beginning, they are trying to find a niche in the market. But there are startups that already found this niche in the market, and now they need to expand themselves. So the approach should be a little bit different. And that's why OKRs are for everyone, every type of company. You just need to understand your challenges, your moment, your strategy, and then once you have that, you can adapt OKRs, the time length, 1 year, 6 months, quarterly, based on what you should deliver as a company, as your strategy. So in this case, totally connect, OKRs can totally connect with startups and huge companies, and you just mentioned about a familiar company, no? Any company can use OKRs, and once you have them well written, the communication inside the company, among the company, increase, I would say, 100%.
Yeah, very good. So I think that was clear, was very practical example, and with a lot of experience, Luis. So thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank you.
Miriam, and for the audience for this moment together. And I think that was very useful for everybody, at least for me. Thank you very much. Miriam?
Okay, thank you very
Thank you.
much for very interesting chat. Now I'm going to look at the different comments and questions that we have from the audience. I didn't mention, but the audience could have sent their questions right through the chat at YouTube. And from this way, we have got two quite interesting questions. The first one is practical. We have talked about a lot about a strategy, but give us a good example of interaction between how can the OKR interact with the strategy. Otherwise, the word interaction is too broad. So can you give us a good example of this interaction?
Well, yes, I can. When you have this, when I was mentioning about strategy, usually we talk about the drivers and how the company should focus in some goals. You have some huge goals connected in this strategy level, and once you have them, Joilson brought us an example about moving abroad. It's a huge strategy, and inside that, you can choose to start a new production line in this new region. And then we should discuss how we can build a goal that will measure how we are going to start this production. OKRs just are going to deliver how you and your team are going to deliver that measurement, that goals. So in a production line, you can say, we need to start our production line. And once we have that in place, we are going to sell our product in that region. So we can build an OKR looking to sales. Increase the market share, increase the number of sales, increase the number of agreements, the deals. Here is one example, but we could have more besides sales teams. Marketing as well. We need to start delivering the awareness of our product inside that new region. So one of the drivers is increase our awareness in this new place. So marketing teams, sales team as well, can work together to increase that awareness.
Okay.
So
Thank
once
you.
you have this strategy, you can work these objectives in this way.
Okay, clear. And the second question is very, very precise, with an explanation of one word, the meaning word, for you to really know what she is asking. The question is, does OKR fits in any company or depends on the maturity of the team's understanding, maturity, as the understanding of the strategic planning concept? Does OKR fit? Yep, I repeat again. Does OKR fits in any company or depends on the maturity of the teams? What is maturity? maturity is an understanding of the strategic planning concept?
Well, they don't need to understand the strategic planning concept. Teams usually need to understand what the company wants to achieve in a period. For example, in a year time length, like I was saying. So the strategic planning concept is quite deep, and you don't need to show the teams those concepts, but you should deliver the message through OKRs, really clear, specific. I was talking about an OKR saying that we need to expand ourselves in a new region, in a new place. So the main thing in OKRs is the objective. You should discuss more about the objectives. What are you going to what do you want to go to achieve? And put in the objective. The key results are just going to measure if you are going to achieve that, if you are achieving that or not. But the main thing is the objective. Once this objective is really clear, the communication to your teams also will be clear, so they can understand the strategy behind the whole discussion inside among the company. So once you have this objective well written, well communicated, specific, also sometimes I say you can be the more specific you are, the more the easiest is for the companies, the teams to understand and deliver the outcomes and deliver the actions.
So OKR fits in any company.
Yeah, fits in any company, as you talked about, and you don't need to start teaching people about strategic planning concepts. You just need to deliver the OKRs really clear and specific, so they can understand what they should do and how they can contribute to those OKRs.
Okay. Thank you very much. And with this, I think the webinar is over. Thank you, Luiz Corandin from OKR Matrix and Joilson Marques Costa from Moxy. And thank you all who have been attending this webinar.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.